Hey everybody, welcome to White Noise Live, episode 12. I'm Kyle and this is Ian and Rachel.
Hi.
Howdy.
How you guys doing?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
So we have our community comments again this week. We're actually consistently doing that. Did you guys actually open that file when I sent it to you?
I do, in fact, have it open. Look at
Alright,
me,
cool.
so prepared. Like, there's been no
Bring it
problem
right
with this
through.
at all. I've just been so smooth today.
Smooth.
Smooth.
There was just a 10-minute delay for fun. There were no problems happening.
We just had a snack break.
So, as for upcoming channel things, just to go and get that out of the way, it's fairly busy time here actually at White Lightning HQ for the next few weeks. I'm working on changing up my work schedule, which hopefully will be for the better for the channel. And then as far as videos go, this Monday we're putting out a Mark of the Ninja video that I'm finishing up this weekend. That Clay, the company that made the game, has actually helped me out with a little bit by sending me backgrounds. Yeah, so it's the same company that made Don't Starve.
Oh,
So
cool.
They saw that video last year, and so I emailed them for this video and asked if I could have if there was any way I could get like some game backgrounds pre-rendered, because I couldn't find them in the game files to use, because there's a whole green screen video, and yeah, they actually sent them to me.
So, they must be a very small
they're
studio,
awesome.
right?
They're fairly small, but they've made some pretty popular games. They made Don't Starve, they made this one, they made one called Invisible Inc., like Incorporated. It's like a spy game.
It seems to me that any studio large enough to have like a single lawyer around would just be like, hey, so we're gonna send this guy who's making a video of our stuff, some of the content we use in the game, and the lawyer would just like have a heart attack. Wait, stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely would be considered more of an indie developer kind of company, but it's like on the bigger end of indie developer.
Mm-hmm.
They've been around for a few years now. Oh, also, I'm pretty sure I fixed the echoey audio problems from last time, but if anybody hears anything that sounds off, or if like the volumes aren't just right, like if one of us sounds too loud or something, just let me know and I'll make a quick adjustment here. I have an actual physical soundboard here now that I can just adjust dials on.
The deal is,
oh my god, Kyle, the fanciness.
Kyle fixed all the audio, and I'm working my hardest to make sure that I'm breaking everything he fixed at least as quickly.
Yeah, we're also using like the lowest quality sound. Well, no, the computer, I guess, is
It's
nice.
better than my old laptop.
It'll be nice, because eventually you'll be able to listen to this podcast and just hear this slow increase in sound quality as the episode numbers go up.
Fun fact, apparently, NPR? National Public Radio. So you always hear like the NPR sound, right? It's like the guy with the voice, and like they did it so well on like Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec was the funniest.
But apparently that sound comes from a particular brand and model of microphone.
Really? What is it?
Yeah.
But it's like if you get that microphone, you just sound like NPR, which has the twin effects of being calming, soothing, immediately reassuring, and completely uninteresting to everyone.
Oh my god, this could be the platform for my ASMR channel. I can be like NPASMR.
She will not stop talking about this.
I'm gonna make it my own channel with ASMR content.
So okay, here, bigger channel news. So there was that. Like the Clay thing's pretty cool. We have one other thing, which I'm actually okay talking about now that it's officially confirmed, is we are doing an Encore Kerbal Space Program video.
Yay!
That will probably be out in a couple weeks from now, like 2 Mondays, I'm thinking. And the reason we're doing another one is because this one is going to be featuring Scott Manley as a guest appearance.
Scott Manley!
Who he is, if you don't know, he's a professional astronomer who also has a YouTube channel where he does Kerbal Space Program tutorial videos.
So,
and does them better than everybody else because he actually knows what he's talking about.
See, the thing is, Rachel, you respond to the comments live with voice. You read the comment.
But Kyle
and you respond.
was speaking. I didn't want to interrupt him.
You just wait till he's done, and then you say, and then people who actually watch the stream can feel the conversation also. That is lost forever. It's good because what she wrote is philosophically disturbing on a level that the world isn't ready for yet. So that was actually a good save.
No one tells me.
Also, people just listening to the audio version can't hear what you type, so it's you kind of have to say everything.
Guess what I typed?
You just spell it out.
Bye.
Actually,
Also, let's get back to the. So yeah. Anyways,
Scott Manley. How cool is that?
That's gonna be awesome.
Yay!
We plan. I'm working on. I think we're probably gonna try to film his scenes this Friday. I'm gonna finish up the script early this week. Try to film his scenes at the end of this week, and remotely, and then do John's the same way, and then get mine and Ethan's part maybe next weekend.
So I haven't actually looked at the script or anything, but I'm presuming
there's not much of it yet.
I'm presuming with the addition of Scott Manley, does this mean that we will actually finally have a Kerbal Space Program video where somebody knows how to do something in the actual script?
Yeah.
And can pronounce the words.
The main joke of everything.
He pronounces them in Scottish, so it's not quite the same.
So yeah, that'll be fun. Looking forward to that. He's also significantly more popular than us, so it was very nice of him to agree. I just asked him on Twitter, and he was up for it. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
People are asking what the painting is behind Rachel.
Oh, it's a painting of a woman who used to be a mermaid, but then I didn't want to draw her scales, so I gave her legs.
It's just because of the lighting and the small screen, she just looks kind of like a weird, vaguely ghostly banshee silhouette.
I haven't painted her in yet, but I had the innovation. Instead of doing seashell bra, I gave her starfish bra, which looks like creepy hands. Yeah, I mean, I can't see at all what it looks like on the Skype webcam. Sorry, guys. Ian hated it.
Well, I mean, it was like...
I'm gonna put it back on its easel because that's where it lives.
Okay. So.
Okay. Anyway, community comments. Let's get on to those.
Yeah.
Also, it's my apartment. It's my kitchen. They're like, "Is that a kitchen?" I'm not sure why that's surprising.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's just a kitchen there. All right. So, community comments. First one is from Solocum. S-O-L-O-K-O-M.
Solocum.
Yeah. Says, can we have a full/long version of this soothing music at the end, please? Every time I hear this tune, I just want to cuddle, cry about my lost youth, and rock myself to sleep.
Aww. That's so sweet.
See, I've actually always found it vaguely unsettling.
A little bit, yeah.
Like, it sounds like too music boxy, and it kind of like, that's definitely a haunted music box.
No, I love it. It makes me feel happy and soothed.
It may be haunted by a sad ghost instead of a creepy ghost, but it's still a haunted music box.
That was made by JP, who is, you've seen in many things. And you can actually get a full download of it on his Newgrounds page. I guess I should probably just link to this somewhere. Does he have an iTunes?
Why doesn't he get an iTunes page?
We should actually try to just publish his music somewhere. I guess.
He needs to get an iTunes page.
It's not like we ever downplay him or anything, but it is. I frequently, at least once every couple of weeks, sit and think, how amazing it is that we just have a composer for us.
Yeah, because otherwise we'd be using the same YouTube default music everybody downloads and uses.
And he's just awesome and great and totally excellent. So. That is just a weird and excellent gimme for the channel.
Yeah, it really is. And he's really talented. And very he's very talented.
He makes the ladies speechless.
Yeah, I didn't want to start complimenting his appearance after his talents.
If you go to ruptured-reality.newgrounds.com, that was the username he had. That one among several other tracks he has composed are downloadable there if you are interested. So we will, and maybe we'll try to figure out how to get that somewhere else. Glorious Potato just mentioned Spotify. I don't actually know what the Spotify application process is, but that might be something to look into and see if JP's interested in sharing his music on something like that.
Hey JP, have you ever thought of money? No.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure why he hasn't tried to put any of his music up for sale before, considering that's literally what he wants to do as a career, is be a performer. But
it's because he's named after the Pope. He's too nice.
Oh, by the way, I went to see Pentatonics on Sunday live. That was really cool. That was the best concert I've been to so far. I really don't like going to concerts, so that's not a high bar, but I really enjoyed that one. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, because I could listen to their music, but you know what? Honestly, it's the audience. It entirely has to do with the audience and the fans of the people you're going to go see. The last concert I went to before this one was Imagine Dragons. And I don't like the Imagine Dragons fan base.
Yeah.
They are drunk and belligerent.
God, Kyle, you sound so privileged. You're like, I went to this concert for this famous band. Normally, I'm not into concerts, but still I can afford tickets to go.
I don't know if that comes across as snooty as much as it does.
Like, obviously,
I just don't like going to concerts.
Anybody who goes to live music events has a sworn duty to talk about how much they dislike going to live music events.
Oh, is that true?
Do they?
It's like the whole hipster thing, right? Like,
I thought hipsters
But I
love live
legitimately
music.
don't go to them,
Yeah.
though. This is the first concert I've been to in,
Oh,
I think,
really?
4 years.
My first concert, and actually, I've only ever been to see Streetlight Manifesto live. The second time wasn't as bad. My very first concert I ever went to was in a little warehouse in Houston, a famous warehouse. They had, because it's a ska concert, they intentionally overbooked the room.
Oh my god.
And so we're sitting around and everybody's like hanging around the back of this long, warehouse space. We're like, wow, what a bunch of freaking hipsters. They don't want to be like all excited for the show. And so Jamie and I, my cousin, we just like run up to the front. We're like, this is great. And so first off, like there are 3 opening acts and it takes like 2.5 hours for everybody to get ready. And so we're already kind of tired by the end of it. But what actually happens while everybody's in the back is as soon as the main band comes on at ska concerts, the crowd just becomes a living, pressing wave of flesh that undulates violently. And we were tossed like a ship at sea in the middle of a storm. I spent 36 seconds on the ground. And when I came back up, my glasses had been just moshed into atoms. I never found them.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That's so scary.
I imagine Pentatonics was slightly more civilized.
Yeah, it was very comfortable the whole time.
Yeah.
And they're just as good live because they're, a cappella. So
That's so amazing.
Like, I don't know what it is. There's something about a cappella-ness that I feel does not come across as well in recordings. Like,
yeah.
there's just a certain, like, amazingness to it. Like, oh, wow, hey, that's just all voice. It's, like, way more apparent in person.
Something that one of the most like happy experiences that I've had is singing a cappella with a group of like 6 people who can also sing very beautifully. Like we did this in a train car. You did this in a train car with some people in Scotland. We sang like hymns, and it just happened that everyone there was like part could all play like string instruments. I can't, but I can sing pretty well, and we sang hymns, and we had like 5-part harmony going on or something, and like an entire actual professional rugby team came up to our train car and were like, that was beautiful, are y'all a traveling music group? But like so many happy chemicals were released in my brain when we were singing for like those 10 minutes. Like it pressed into my memory because it was so like satisfying and beautiful to be making music with that many harmonies that sounded good all at the same time. And I was like only singing the melody because I wasn't the one like making up the harmonies. But it's so nice.
Direct contrast, when they did this in our apartment in Waco, somebody called the cops.
Oh yeah, it was too loud. Oh no, the cops called the cops.
No, actually, that was actually kind of the annoying part. If they were just our downstairs neighbors, they're like, but he wasn't actually responding as a cop. He was just like, hey, it's your neighbor and you're loud. But he showed up at the door in uniform. I feel like that's a little unnecessary.
Did he put the uniform on just to come upstairs?
We don't know.
I mean, presumably, if he was in uniform, he shouldn't have been at home, right?
I think it was two cops who were married, and I think his wife worked the cop night shift.
And she was trying to sleep or something. Also, y'all were painfully loud. Like I was covering my ears, and like it hurt.
But it was
all right.
beautiful and glorious.
Let's get through the rest of these comments so we can talk about Civ 6.
God blessed. Like whatever. We were singing
Ian. Ian.
Yes.
Go ahead and read the next comment.
I will have you note that the document you linked me to just says community comments and doesn't actually provide any comments.
No.
Yes.
That's not the one I sent you. I sent you the White Noise Live talking points document.
Yes, the first bullet point is community comments, and there's a second
down,
page. All right, okay. See, it wasn't showing up until I was doing that. Okay, that's better. All right. This is in relation to Half Measure Binging by Jonah Kirk. I can't make that fun. Boo. Ha, ha, ha. Like how you didn't really care, Kyle. Also, nice Daredevil, parody? Is that what it'd be called?
I think that one was actually more parody than most of our videos have been so far, actually.
No, that was pretty directly parodical.
Yeah, most of our videos really aren't. I've never described our game videos as parodies. They're just sort of themed around that game. Like a parody is something that's usually like taking something and
it has
it's
to
that
riff.
weird line between parody and satire.
It
It's
is repurposing.
Yeah.
It was like, so I got watching a specific couple of Quarter Digital's videos recently, just
Yeah.
like some of their video game videos. I don't know, I'm not actually very well versed, but they seem to do things where they spend, you know, incredible amounts of effort directly replicating like effects and images and
they
styles
do.
of video games.
They're really good. They're one of my
And
favorites. I watch
when I
their
noticed-
behind the scenes videos a lot.
Yeah. They're not really, the videos themselves weren't particularly funny. I mean, they had laughs, but they weren't really that comedic, and they weren't really parodies. They were just kind of like, this is us proving that we can recreate this style, but in
Yeah.
YouTube sketch form.
They're
And
more
it's like
focused
just-
on like special effects kind of thing.
Yeah, stupidly impressive.
Yeah, they're definitely really good at what they do.
The one they did for Metal Gear Rising, they actually had the voice actor of Raiden do the voiceover, which is nice.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
it was cute.
Yeah, they're on my list of YouTubers I want to meet and do things with.
But yeah, it's kind of weird how like there is so many different varieties of or like flavors of almost parody that we don't ever actually end up doing it much. But that one was pretty dead on parody.
Yeah. All right, Rachel, you want to read the next one?
Yeah. So this one's from Autumn Carter. It says, I actually enjoy spoilers. Not ones that include a bad ending or just something that would deter me from continuing the story, though.
This comment confuses me.
I don't know how to relate to you, Autumn.
I mean, I understand people who don't mind spoilers. Like, I get the whole journey is the point thing. Like, my sister doesn't care about spoilers at all.
Yeah,
But
she's
that
always
she
trying
doesn't
to
say
spoil
this
stuff.
comment doesn't say I don't care about spoilers. It says I enjoy spoilers.
Well, but also, it notes, it seems to me that it seems like they don't mind, like, they're kind of courting disaster, right? They have very specific, like, definitions of what kind of spoilers they do and do not like, but you can't tell if the spoiler is that until you've already heard it.
Mm-hmm.
It's dangerous.
I think that spoilers provide certain people with a certain kind of security. Like, sometimes I like to know spoilers to, like, action movies that
Well,
I don't actually care about, but I want to know if something disastrous is going to happen, like, so I know that I don't have to face, like for instance, Taken. I would be happy to know the spoiler to Taken.
Spoiler. Liam Neeson wins.
Someone is taken.
Liam Neeson-
Liam Neeson wins.
Liam Neeson...
They are taken and they are taken back.
Yeah, Liam Neeson doesn't die and his daughter doesn't die.
But,
the end. Like
when I was young, when I started reading Hardy Boy novels, for the first half of my childhood, I would always read the end first. It was an interesting exercise because then I could
weird.
point out all of the suspicious activity that the perpetrator did throughout the book. It's good writing practice actually, but
Yeah.
kind of
Kind of ruined the
tanked
story a
my
little bit.
enjoyment of the story. I mean, I was okay with it up until I was like 10, and I was like, you know what, this sucks, and then I stopped.
The chat has demanded whales and then discovered whales in the emotes section, by the way.
So now they love the king, right? That's how that works.
Yeah. Let's see, from Kirby Attack ATK, Kirby ATK 48. Actually already watched this several times. This is still on half measure binging. This might be one of my favorites you've done. Had me in hysterics. Thanks, Kirby. Appreciate it.
I also actually really liked the writing on this one. It was because it was more dead-on parody. I particularly enjoyed this script.
Just to show how backwards my writing is, the first thought I had, the way this script started, was, that seems like it would be a fun scene to parody. That was literally it. I didn't even know what the subject matter was going to be. I was like, I could use that format to make fun of a thing. And I didn't know what the thing was going to be until like a week later.
This is how a lot of creative projects start. Like, just like, I want to do it doesn't matter the end result. I just want to be doing a thing that does that. Like,
Yeah.
specifically, while I have Streetlight Manifesto on the brain, they did a cover of Such Great Heights by Postal Service.
Yeah.
And they're, you
They
know,
won't
they're-
see us from such great heights,
That-
come down now.
okay,
That's the
but,
parody.
so,
You know what's great?
Like,
There's no way YouTube Content Match is going to pick that up.
I don't know, it was actually kind of close, but, like,
No, I did a good imitation.
so, Thomas Kalnoki, the headman or the frontman for Streetlight Manifesto, he's on record saying, so we picked this song as one of our 10 covers to do on this album, specifically because I wanted to have my trumpet section try and do that opening electronic part. And they gave it their all, you know?
The chat is now all whales.
And one octopus.
And a dolphin and some tuna and
Oh my
a
god, look.
pufferfish.
They actually show up in the stream feed chat, too. Like,
Do they?
I'm surprised those get transferred, yeah. Like, you can see the icons.
I just realized I've had the stream
Thank you,
setting at
Jesus.
144p on my screen.
Thank you,
Wow.
Burdell. It's always Rachel.
All right,
Rachel loves emojis.
Ian's turn.
Oh god, somebody else is... Okay, I'm silencing a Skype thing real quick. Alright. And next, from the Pop-Tartster. Once again, on half measure binging. If such a thing can be said, that was a classic White Lightning ending. Awesome.
Aww.
Yeah,
It can be said.
It was close to a classic White Lightning ending. Traditionally, a classic White Lightning ending has actual bullets.
Right, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Everyone.
It was also a parody of White Lightning ending, so there you go.
Yeah. Alright, your turn, Rachel. Try to, like, jump through the comments faster in the future, probably. I think we've been podcasting for technically 20 minutes already.
Excellent.
So this next comment is just for people, not for aliens. Okay,
Aliens can be people, just dogs can't.
dogs are people.
Okay.
Okay. I think all of your content is brilliant. Keep sharing it around. You really deserve more subscribers, and please keep the Civilization 5 sketches coming.
Well,
Thank
we got
you.
great news for you.
Thank you.
Good news, the Civ sketches have been indefinitely extended.
Yeah.
And the best news is we never had to boot up Beyond Earth.
Yeah, good point. We can just skip that one. Don't have to worry about it. From Luke Rodley. Lol, 0 dislikes. I liked it, but I have the dislike for this fact, so it's you. You're doing it.
There's like
What?
we have consistently 2 and sometimes 3 people who dislike every single one of our videos.
One of them is John. He has admitted.
Why?
And probably
Why,
has not
John?
stopped.
Because John.
Just I guess it's a personality type. Who's like, hey, dislike.
John is also the guy who, and this will actually lead into a topic later in this podcast, who on Halo 3 would wait until the countdown was fading out and then push the cancel countdown button. And then you'd be like, John, don't do that. And he'd be like, okay, I won't do that. And then he'd wait like a split second longer the next time and then push it again. And he'd have to go through that process like 10 times before actually
This
being
is
able
why
to play
you
the
just
game.
confiscate his controller. This is the true best thing about couch gaming. You can mess with other people's controllers. It's a legitimate strategy. Kyle, stop dying. You're not allowed to die.
Bless
I breathe
you.
in water sometimes.
Are you like trying to build up an immunity to larger amounts of water?
I'm trying really hard to be a fish person.
That sounded
not
like
working.
that's Kyle. You said that so definitely. Like, it sounded like a motivational statement. Like, I breathe in water, I breathe out steam, or something like.
That would be an issue.
Ian, next comment.
This one is from Lonely Ninja on Reversive Gaming. I'd give it a year before this is real. And it's funny because real, right? But because it's
Also
never real, but
because
it's always
most of them already are.
Yeah,
All the
yeah.
most,
Actually,
like,
also
The things that I listed off, there isn't a, as far as I can tell, there's not like a sitting in your room playing Nintendo 64 game simulator, but there is a virtual arcade that's being worked on. Big Screen is a thing, which is a game where you sit at your computer and then you put on your headset and then you have a virtual version of your computer screen and you are sitting in a room with other people. And
Yeah,
trying
I mean-
to have like the LAN parties.
the funny thing is everybody's like is really amused by this, and everybody is really like impressed and stuff. But actually, like, this is the least impressive thing an emulator can do, because that's literally all it's ever been designed to do, was just present a game as being a thing that it never was. And it continues to do that just with a television set around it.
People are saying my mic sounds weird, which is fantastic because I only spent all morning yesterday getting this stuff set up.
And no, that's just how he sounds. Don't.
Is it sounding weird to you guys?
No, actually,
No.
no. I mean, aside from
Interesting.
your choking to death.
So it might just be the stream, which I apologize for. I'm not sure exactly what to fix. We are again attempting to record our own audio this time, so hopefully the actual podcast will sound halfway decent for the first time
That
in
did
12
squeak there
episodes.
for me.
Yeah, actually, it is doing something a little weird now. It sounds like you're recording a slinky.
Hmm.
If your vocal cords were a
You
slinky.
know, so my D&D group has actually officially moved away from using Skype after all these years.
What?
We now use Discord.
Oh, Ethan recommended Discord to me, actually.
But
so
it's
I wonder
because
if we could try moving over to that.
One of my players, Matt, he was having this. I mean, Matt has some sort of bizarre like electromagnetic field around him that just destroys electronics in subtle ways whenever he walks into a room. But he would have this problem where he would plug in his headset, and like for the first 10 seconds, nothing, and then everything he said during that 10 seconds would be played back in a 2-second window, but chipmunkized and kind of roboticized. Just on occasion, just randomly.
So I do apologize for any weird mic sounds. I'm not exactly sure what to do about it right at this moment, because if I start messing with things, it's gonna make horrible electronic noises that kill everyone's ears.
And because we are civilized, we don't do things like solder our mics while they're live.
Which John did once. So yeah, I might just have to sound a little bit like a robot during this. Lone Wolf has asked, should we pre-order Civ 6, yes or no? No, you should not pre-order anything. Pre-ordering is bad. Pre-ordering incentivizes worse games and bad business practices.
I would argue that it doesn't necessarily incentivize, but it does leave open the path to abuse much more clearly. Yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of weird. So, because of Peter Molyneux, I now have an inherent distrust of any video game that has somebody's name in front of it. Yeah, I mean, man, how did anybody even start getting away with that? Like, hey,
I don't know.
If you give me $20, I'll make you a video game. That sounds legit.
Rachel, thanks for comment.
Okay. Where are we?
Right here.
Where? Right here?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love this comment. I was reading it last night. Oh my god, I actually commented on the YouTube page on this. This Infinite War says, if you're gonna use the Vive, do something useful with it at least. Like play the IKEA game and find a new bedroom set.
Is there an IKEA game? I don't know if that's a joke.
It's not a joke. I have not yet tried.
No,
the
oh my
IKEA
god,
game.
that was a sick burn though. Oh
Why?
my god.
Why?
He says he doesn't like his bedroom set. He needs to go buy a new bedroom set. It was savage. Like he was like, his bedroom set is outdated. At least if you're gonna use the VR,
he was
go
thinking
to
that
IKEA
far
and
into
buy
it.
like a new bedroom set.
No, I think you're misinterpreting. The challenge is trying to find things in IKEA.
Oh, are you serious?
Because
no, I think
IKEA
he's saying.
is
No, I think he's burnt.
like, have you never heard of like IKEA hide and seek? That's like a thing.
I don't think he was
I think this is
intending
like
to insult my bedroom set in that comment.
Are you sure? I think it's totally an insult.
No, I think it's a reference to the fact that IKEA is large enough to be its own sovereign territory.
There is actually an IKEA. Like IKEA published a VR IKEA experience where you can go examine IKEA furniture in virtual reality.
I think so. Probably
at
at worst, they are decrying that as actually not useful, despite IKEA's insistence that would be a useful VR feature.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Master Necrosis says,
I'm Master Necrosis.
Starting to get.
He's actually not here.
Yeah, no, this is a comment.
Yeah.
He says, I'm starting to get curious how your writing process goes some days. This is from Reversive Gaming. It seems like this was shortened to the point, but still very well done. Thank you. It was.
Mm-hmm.
That is Kyle's
so
prime writing quality. Short, to the point, and very well done.
I'm trying to do shorter videos. Like, we mentioned a while back that the ones that aren't games are supposed to be a little bit shorter and more compact and to the point, just to help free up some time to work on some of the longer ones and kind of manage the time better.
I think is also a really excellent way to develop White Lightning's particular style, because I think so much of the channel's success comes from the pacing and the quippiness.
Yeah.
So putting the limit on it really bolsters the creativity on that specific facet. So it's excellent strategy. Good job, Kyle.
Yep. All right, Ian.
Next comment is from Paper Clown, which is somehow creepier than a normal. I mean, you just put any clown on the end of anything, and it's creepier.
Any adjective in front of clown just makes it a specific kind of creepy.
I actually think that
adjective.
Paper Clown makes the clown part
It's being
better.
used as one.
Paper
It's being used as a descriptor for the clown.
It's a descriptor, you're right. Technical differences. The real truth is there is nothing but overpriced tech demos on Steam Store.
So having actually tried the Vive extensively, a lot of them are tech demos, but they are the fanciest tech demos you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like they are, I've seen some people not wanting to try them out or saying they're overpriced. I personally have not regretted anything I've spent on this so far. Like I've had a week to mess with it, and yeah, the Vive is pretty amazing. If
I
you
will say that
if you have the means, I would highly recommend it.
I had all of maybe 4.5 minutes of Vive experience just doing what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Just doing the tutorial, and that was literally, it was just teaching me how to Vive, and I enjoyed those 4.5 minutes far more than half of the AAA video game titles I've played recently.
Yeah.
And I was just literally here's what a trigger does.
Yeah, the best ones are the ones it seems much already immediately more intuitive to developers than the past iterations of VR technology have been, like the Kinect. Because
the Wii and stuff, where it was I guess it's a sword, but
in those
it was always half measures.
Yeah, they were trying to shoehorn that technology into a game because that was a thing that came out, and it was it was almost like an obligation, where it's okay, let's add some motion controls into here. This one is specifically they're designing it around. Yeah. This isn't a regular game where you're sitting in front of your computer. You're standing in a place. Let's make it actual experience.
There's an interesting term that they can use here. It's kind of a weirdly paradoxical sounding thing. The thing with the Kinect and the Wiimote and stuff, they were all made from currently existing technology, which is weird because it's difficult to make something that doesn't exist. But that's what the Vive is, right? They invented it to do a thing, as opposed to taking things that existed and tried to see what they could do with it.
Yeah.
I suppose so. I mean, there were things before the Vive that it was built off of, but all of those things were also
sure. But there was a lot of innovation that made this work.
Yeah.
And stuff. But every tech demo I've seen has been incredibly intuitive and wow, that is a great use of VR.
Yeah, and there are some actual games that are fun and that I need to play more of, like Hover Junkers and whatnot. All right, last comment, and then we can talk about Civ. Rachel.
This one is from One Arm Biker.
Dangerous profession.
It's cool. Just out of curiosity, what do you have in terms of PC hardware? You have 2 HTC Vives, unless you're really good at editing, which aren't cheap, nor do they run on potatoes.
So first of all,
Martian, I'm pretty sure anything can run on potatoes.
Including Mark Watney.
Good point. Second of all, I am really good at editing. Third of all, our one HTC Vive is plugged into my personal computer, which is a marvel of technology, not in its advancement, but in the fact that it functions. I use my graphics card is a GTX 970, which is not the newest, but is still pretty high end. It's the most expensive graphics card I've ever bought, and probably the most expensive single piece of my computer. I need a new processor because mine's I skimped a little bit on that, which I now know is a bad idea.
Actually, processor is one of the things you can usually go down a tier on unless you're trying to do very specific things.
Yeah, it's not as bad as some other things, but I could definitely do with upgrading it a bit. I don't have a full spec list or anything, but mainly because the problem I have with building computers is after I put it all together, I just immediately forget everything that I did, and it ends up becoming my computer right now. It's open. It's not even closed because there's wires and things sticking out of it. It's like an old junky spaceship that you see in a space western thing where they just kind of put a thing in, tear another thing out, hit it with a wrench, and then it starts working again. That's how my computer works.
There's a concept called a philosophical concept called the ship of Theseus. The idea is if you have a hammer and you replace the head of the hammer twice and then you replace the handle, is it still the same hammer?
Yeah.
Your computer is sort of like that, but mixed with a Fallout aesthetic, which is just the most dangerous sounding idea.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny that we have an American version of that story with the axe that George Washington used to chop down the cherry tree?
Yes.
People are still saying that my voice is robotic, which is pissing me off because this should be working.
That's because you just transformed into a robot, Kyle. That's
it's
all.
It's not any worse than it was just occasional on this end. So
I don't think you sound
personally
bad,
blame I think Ethan this time.
It's basically going to be one day in the future, one glorious day, the stream and the podcast will both sound absolutely perfect. And until then, there will probably be one new problem with somebody's audio every single time. So yeah, anyway, that was all the comments. Made it through those. So thanks for those. Leave your comments on our videos and we will read them, and we will try to make a practice of doing speed runs through them in future episodes so that we don't use up the first half of the podcast doing community comments.
I don't mind spending a lot of time interfacing with the community.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Also, we'll do them more frequently, because that was 2 videos worth of comments right there.
True.
So, Civ 6, that's a thing. That just got announced. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
People kept like mentioning Civ 6 as like this thing that would happen in the future, but for some reason it didn't occur to me. I didn't think of it as a real thing, and then there was a trailer, and I was like, oh, that's happening. All right.
What's exciting to me on top of this is it means the age of the 6s is coming. Like this whole year, past year has been great for 5s, like GTA 5, Metal Gear Solid 5, Civ 5. Like we're on the 5th iteration of a lot of video games, but now we get a 6.
666.
66666. And so, out of curiosity, is it still styled with Roman numerals?
Yes.
So it looks just like Civ VI?
Yeah.
Civvy.
I also noticed that this generation, lots of people switched from numerals to using the V because it's like aesthetically pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's going to be like a carryover moving forward.
And then there were some people. There's not a whole lot everybody knows about the game yet, but the opening cinematic trailer thing that they released was just as epic and inspirational as any other Civ games was. And then the immediately after that, in true internet fashion, everybody started complaining. So the current gripe is the graphic style that everyone seems to be having a problem with. It's kind of a simplified version. It doesn't have quite as many. It really looks basically the same to me as Civ 5, except that like the textures are less complicated and the colors are brighter.
Speaking as somebody who's attempted to run Civ 5 on a laptop, I am all for what is essentially a board game having stylized in a simple fashion graphics.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it'll probably help with running it. It'll probably help with identifying units and things on the board more easily. I think it looks a little bit like a mobile game, and so people, anybody who plays PC games, their mortal enemy is mobile anything, so...
So, I mean, what's interesting to me is, like, everybody I saw complaining about the graphics was the kind of, like, invested Civ player who no doubt already had installed, like, an alternate image pack for the Civ board anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen, like, because there are just a billion of those, and those are great anyway, but, we don't need doves. No, you don't need doves flying, especially
yes,
when
you do.
DirectX 11 did not work on my laptop, and anytime there were doves, it caused these bizarre spectral, like light beam prism tentacle things to shoot across the map and just destroyed like the graphics processing. And it was just the doves; everything else worked. So I had to go back to DirectX 9 for it.
They listed off a few new features too, like they're reintroducing a version of the stackable units mechanic again, which I know a lot of people were happy about because it was something that they took out from the 4th Civ game. And
how did that go?
It was you could just stack multiple units on the same tile, basically. And I think there was no limit to it in Civ 4. I don't think so. I think in Civ 4 you could literally just put an entire army on one tile. But
You've activated my trap tile. The trap is all of Greece.
I think this new version is kind of mixing the two. Instead of having them all separated, there are like certain types of units that you can stack together. So
Civ 5 had, like, you could put a utility unit and an army unit, right?
This one, but now it's like splitting army units into multiple categories, so you can have like a support army unit with a main army unit and have them both together or something like that, and kind of group them a little bit more and increase their strength and things. So that should be fun. Somebody in the chat who said it, Mine a Time-Lapser, said, what do you think the new victory type will be? I hadn't heard there was a specific one. I think it'll be
nihilism.
I actually think a religious victory would be an interesting addition, because you can't do that in the Civ 5.
Yeah. I feel like that's courting a lot of political drama right now.
Probably, but I mean, it's already a game mechanic.
Yeah, but there's a difference between that and literally just playing ISIS mode.
Okay,
like,
oh my god.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Like,
yeah, I get.
Le Turtle says it would be cool if you could rotate the perspective, which might be cool too. Oh, well, honestly,
I don't know.
The feature I would want is VR support, because I want to look down upon my map like a godman and control everything.
You know what might be
Yes.
cool as a victory type?
Godzilla.
The griefer victory,
What?
whereby like if you manage to successfully undermine or ruin somebody else's close attempt at victory 3 times, you win.
Just sabotaging
Like,
someone
who
else
d-
and you get the victory.
Just being like I'm taking you all down with me.
Like, what's a historical example of that?
The Greeks are great at this. Actually, it's kind of weird. Like you read things about Odysseus. You think of Odysseus as this brave, noble guy. No, he was a scoundrel and just a liar. And he his greatest virtue in Greek thought was, man, he can get anybody to believe anything, and they will, and he'll just totally go and just rip him right off.
Wily Odysseus.
I would just having the Greek sabotage trickster victory. I could dig it.
So you know what we should do probably is
What?
I mean, I guess it's not like a huge deal, but I don't know. Do you think it would make sense to try to get our Civ 5 videos in before Civ 6 came out?
Yes,
Yeah.
So
we definitely ought.
we should definitely see when that is coming out and maybe try to fit in some of our.
Although, I
It
would
says
really like, and
October,
I've
so if we can get Civ 5 videos in before October this year.
I think it'd be kind of cool to have a transition video, where it's like the leaders of Civ 5 ally against the leaders of Civ 6. Maybe just sort of like SimCity versus Skyline style.
Yeah. We definitely have. I think I still have like 5 more Civ videos in a
The
list.
only thing more terrifying than nuclear Gandhi is 2 nuclear Gandhis.
Yeah.
Mutually assured Gandhi.
And then hopefully Civ 6 is different enough that we can pull some new things out of it as well. The whole Civ universe is, I mean, just because of the way the game is, it makes it like really easy to just pick different parts of the game and be like, let's look at it from this unit's angle now.
Mhm.
So I don't know, maybe
I
it'll be worth saving some of the ideas and then just readjusting them for Civ 6.
What about like a world explorer mode, like the person who you managed to like discover a map thoroughly? I guess that's pretty early game. I just want mono scout victory. Only scouts. That's it.
I mentioned Halo 3 earlier. So I discovered a game a couple weeks ago by accident that is not a new game by any means, but back when I got my Xbox 360, I got mine at about, I think it was for my 18th birthday actually. I got into Halo really late. I got the first Halo in 2009, which I think was 8 years after it came out or something, and that was my first shooter. And me and Reed and Jeffrey and Ian, actually, like all of us played that game.
In which I legendarily won one match by destroying a server.
Ian actually, yeah, we should tell that real quick. So Ian, one time we were in a Halo 1 server, and I really loved, the Halo 1 multiplayer was amazing, because it was all dedicated servers. It was before Microsoft kind of turned really overlordy, and gave you the chance to actually make your own servers and run your own games, and there were modified versions of Halo, and it was really fun. And we kind of played near the tail end of all this before...
it was really past the tail end. It was more like the tail had circled back around, and we caught the tail end of the second coming,
but it was
sort
still
of.
pretty full. Like, there were a lot of people online still. And at one point...
Well, one of the draws of it was that anybody could do it on any computer
Exactly.
that just wasn't mine.
Like, I could just run a server, and that was fine, which, you know, in later Halo games, obviously you couldn't do. But, yeah, at one point, we entered a server, one of the servers that just kind of stuck around. It wasn't somebody just running it on their own personal computer. They had probably their own server machine, and it was running the server. Ian's ping back then was...
Well, so I had this amazing combination of a computer that it was built to be a WoW box back when WoW was new. So, like, you know, it was hot stuff in, you know, the early 80s. And also at that time, our internet connection at home, it wasn't modem. It was technically cable, but it wasn't DSL. It was like, you know, the off-brand, like 1/4 as fast sort of thing.
Yeah.
So my poor, struggling, terrible computer is trying to use this poor, terrible, struggling internet connection to play a game from 10 years ago. And so I would tab in and I would look at my ping and like, okay, so it's at like 200. I mean, there's still like, you know, the only 1 in 3 digits, but hey, for me that was pretty good. And so once I was just looking at the score and it's like, oh, Oh no, that's 2000. Huh. It's like I think Penny Arcade made the joke. If you were measuring your ping in thousands, that's no longer milliseconds.
Yeah.
That is seconds.
If someone doesn't know, if you don't know what ping is, it's the amount of time it takes for your computer to send data to the server and then bring it back again. Is it both, or is it just one direction?
I believe it measures the times from sent and back.
Okay,
I don't know if it's
in
halved or
milliseconds,
not, but yeah.
so that whenever you see people, so
Milliseconds.
basically, if you hit 1,000, that's actually 1 full second. We were playing on
And
this
so-
server, and it was like my computer was really lagging. I was like, "Is anybody else getting a lot of lag?" And Jeffrey was like, "Yeah, kind of." And then suddenly in the chat is like, "Why is the server lagging so bad?" So we check the list, and it's it's normal ping. It's like 90, 80, 40, 120 is a little bit high, and then Ian's is at 2,000. It is taking him two
And then
entire
it
seconds.
balloons to like 20,000, and then it's like then everything just went dark.
Yeah, and so then suddenly it's like, you've been kicked from the server, and it's like, oh crap. And then we realize everybody's gotten the same message, and so we go back to the server list to find it again, and it's just gone. So Ian actually took down the server with how laggy his computer and internet connection was.
It's like it's the opposite of a DDoS attack. It was, as opposed to thousands and thousands of computers like trying to connect so fast that it overloads the computer. It was just one computer being so poor and slow at it that the server just ended its own life instead of trying to wait around for it.
So anyway, fast forward a bit. I finally get an Xbox 360. I've been up until now, I was always behind on technology and game consoles and everything. Me, John, and our friend Sean, who I'm not sure if anybody... Oh, you've seen him. He was in The Guards Themselves as himself.
As Sean, yeah.
We would play Halo 3. That was our big game. We would get together and be this... We would call ourselves the Dream Team, and we sucked. We were the worst trio of people you'd ever run into. I was the winning kill for the other team very often, and we had a lot of fun. It was great, but after a while, the 360 and Halo 3 went out of style, and we weren't really able to play anymore, which was sad. And so it's been several years since I really did any Halo, until a couple weekends ago, where I was, I guess, just feeling particularly bored and was trying to get the original Halo to work again, and I couldn't get it to connect. So I looked up on Google how to play online with Halo 1, because I thought maybe I was doing something wrong, like connecting incorrectly. And the result that showed up was something called Halo Online. I was like, what is this? This is weird. So it turns out, Microsoft, a couple years back, they were developing a PC-based multiplayer Halo game. If you follow Halo at all, the Master Chief Collection came out a while ago and wasn't for PC, much to the disappointment of all PC users, and it was just a collection of all the multiplayer maps from the past 3 games. But PC users didn't get it. But apparently, Microsoft was actually working on a PC version of a multiplayer game briefly, and then scrapped it. And they were working on it in Russia specifically, and were using like Russian beta testers and things. And during one of these tests, one of the people who were beta testing it just kind of kept their copy, and then when Microsoft scrapped it, they kept building it.
Yeah.
And
Yes!
they used
Yes!
this base thing that Microsoft had made, used people's feedback, and have now rebuilt Halo 3, specifically Halo 3 multiplayer, in this system, but built the multiplayer like Halo 1 multiplayer, to where you could have dedicated servers and just pick a server from a server list. So they took all the best parts of Halo 1 multiplayer and Halo 3 gameplay and combined them together into this game, and have not been sued yet, somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually becoming a burgeoning, like, this is literally pretty much the exact same issue that Blizzard's been dealing with their whole
you
private
described
server
that to
deal.
me
It's
briefly.
It's for people out of the loop. The idea, so there are apparently, I've never played WoW, so this is all, I'm just getting on this all secondhand. There are private servers, which are not official Blizzard servers, that people can log into to play different versions of World of Warcraft. And I mean, obviously these are all pirated games, right? Like, it's people who have taken bits and pieces of code and written entirely new backends for the code, interfaced it, and they are hosting their own servers. And so, people just log in and wow, there's WoW. And I mean, the real issue comes when lots of private servers require donations and things, so it becomes a profit issue. But anyway, one of the most successful and prominent private servers, which I believe was actually known for not requiring donations, but just occasionally asked for like a little bit of server upkeep completely voluntarily. Its whole deal was it hosted a version of vanilla World of Warcraft without any of the expansions, which is something that Blizzard has steadfastly refused to do. It was wildly popular because people liked their original World of Warcraft experience, and Blizzard finally got their legal team together and said, okay, you can't. And so there's been a lot of friction there. And the idea is like, well, if they're not providing the service, then it's, it's not piracy, it's not taken away from anything, but you still can't just take somebody else's IP and just like host it and just think you're going to get away with it scot-free, unless apparently you're from Russia and it's Halo.
Yeah, so I don't know how the laws work over there, but you can get Halo Online for free. You can go to their subreddit, they have instructions on how to download it, and me and Sean were having a blast playing that again a couple weekends ago, and I want to do some more. And
now, just to show exactly how far behind, now that you've managed to recapture your lost love of your late 360, I have just acquired a 360. So I've been enjoying all the primo games of 2010.
Courtesy of my little brothers who got an Xbox One for Christmas, and I was like, can I take your 360 please? And they were like, I guess. And then they packaged it for me, like they put it back in the box and were like, hey Rachel, we got it all nice for you. And they like picked the games I could have.
Nice.
Like,
that was not the nice part. That was
we
got the remade Prince of Persia.
Well, no, they also gave us Skyrim.
It doesn't.
For new people, my voice does sound
mostly
like a robot. I apologize. I can't really fix it during the stream because I can't hear it, and I'm pretty sure I know exactly what it is, but I can't really fix it right at the moment. So hopefully the podcast itself will not have this problem, and next week I will do another session of trying to fix the audio and see if that turns out better.
Don't listen to his excuses. He's already trying to upgrade himself into a cyborg.
Actually,
this is part of world domination.
I just want to call out Burnt L because somebody says, Pseudonym said the AI has replaced Kyle, and Burnt L responds, wrong, Kyle has replaced the AI. Which I appreciate.
Yeah. That's actually just Vision, isn't it?
That is my ultimate goal in life, is to become Vision. Like at the end of my life, I want to be transplanted into a Vision body.
You know what?
That totally
I
makes
would
a lot of
actually
sense.
just settle for being Paul Bettany.
You know, Kyle, that would make it, that actually is like the culmination of my conceptualization of you as like the weird non-eating fairy person.
Yep.
I would give context to that, but that's really all there is to it.
Like during
Also,
during shooting.
okay,
Yeah,
so
no, it's okay. That was
we
in
need
the
to
behind the
figure
scenes
out-
video, which people have seen now because we're doing that now.
Yeah.
Oh god, I don't know if I've
all
been
500
squinting.
of you.
People went and
Kyle,
found, the collective went and made a list for you.
Great.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Kyle,
Oh my god, I
Kyle,
want to see.
you need a sweater vest.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
We need to see how, like, you need to put. So obviously, right? The sweater vest was on over the cape, right?
I
Had
thought
to
you
be.
could just like generate the cape or something.
Yeah, but if you had a cape, wouldn't you always wear a cape, even if you were wearing a sweater
We went and
vest?
saw Civil War
Or you
on
could have
Saturday,
a
by the
sweater
way.
vest cape.
Just as a heads up, in case we'll try not to, but in case we accidentally say something about Civil War.
They fight against
They
each
do.
other.
They do that.
Sorry to
Vision
spoil.
wears a sweater vest.
It's adorable.
He's the best. I ship it. I ship him and the other Olsen triplet.
Not a triplet. She's just a sister.
I don't care.
She was the original
I don't
Olsen.
care.
She has to be
Really?
I don't
defined
care.
by those who came after her.
I support him and Olsen Prima.
So Rachel, did you see?
Olsen Prime.
Did you see
What?
the copper spheres?
Ian has informed me of the existence of the Copper Spears. However, I'm not seen them.
I
Can look
follow
at one?
Kickstarter on Twitter, and I just happened to click this. There's a dude on Kickstarter, and the project he is kickstarting
Oh my God.
is making and
That's
selling
beautiful.
copper spheres, and that's it.
Yep. I mean, I do like. He has a very brief discussion of the oligodynamic. So copper has some limited antibacterial function. That's true. Like people occasionally make like hospital bed railings out of copper. It's not like a great thing, but it helps a little bit. And he mentions it a little bit, but he never like says it's not like more like the stupid magnetic bracelets. He doesn't claim anything. It's like, yeah, that's a kind of a thing, but really, I just liked it because everybody was fascinated by it because it was a ball of copper.
And how much money has he gotten? Do you have it open?
I'd say Yeah, I do have it open.
How much monies are they?
He has currently collected $247,412 of his $5,000 goal.
How much money is one copper spear?
I believe the early bird specials were like 80 to 100, and I think it's closer to. I mean, it depends on how big.
That's so expensive.
Well, he's also like expanded into like, oh, you want bigger copper spheres? I'll make bigger copper spheres.
Just further proving that we have no idea how to make money on the internet.
No. Yep. No. I think the idea we're promising interesting content, and that's clearly a mistake. But like,
hold on, one second. I
can't-
don't mean to interrupt, but Burntel has mentioned Spider-Man. Spider-Man was the best, Burntel. I love the new Spider-Man so much, and I cannot wait for more movies.
Fantastic. It was.
I love that they
excellent.
establish him as like this guy who just doesn't shut up like right from the start and like irritates
And
everyone.
you know what the best thing about it is, they managed to talk about exactly why he became Spider-Man, and they talked about Uncle Ben without ever mentioning him or going over the backstory at all.
Yeah. That's
When
great.
you don't do things and something bad happens, that's your fault. That is the entire underlying motivation of Spider-Man, and we didn't have to see another old man die in the street.
It was.
Yeah, I felt like it was such a it's that line though sounded like a kid rephrasing, like a kid trying not to plagiarize with great power comes great
little
responsibility.
bit.
It sounded just like
Well,
it was.
I think actually this is a better version. Like, it's not just with great power comes great responsibility. It's with great responsibility comes great consequence and great moral weight of consequence, which isn't really conveyed by the original quote. But that one, I think, hits closer to home than the Tobey Maguire
The
version.
actor was really good.
It's moral responsibility. Duh.
Yeah, the actor was great.
He was great. He was so like a little kid.
Yeah, that's
because he's a child.
Yeah, because he was a
I
kid.
loved it. It was fantastic.
It was really great. I loved it too. And he was.
It was
charming
his
kid.
style of speech, I think, was very well done. Like I've seen a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
confuse the way Spider-Man's supposed to talk and make him more like Deadpool sometimes, where he's
not actually snarky.
Yeah.
He gets a little quippy sometimes, but I mean, he doesn't. He's never. It's always like situationally convenient quips. He doesn't seek out like, ooh,
Yeah.
I gotta pick on that.
That's because he's a tiny baby boy. It
it's
makes
more
sense.
just his
This was-
observations
but it was all-
are funny is usually what it is.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This one has very, very excellent, innocent but amusing observational style humor that was very refreshingly done and organic and excellent.
And he was in a satisfying amount of the movie. I got enough Spider-Man to
Yes.
keep me satisfied. With
And
this.
I think any more than that would have been too
Probably,
much. They
yeah.
did it right.
It was the only I think
also-
the only thing like the main thing about the movie that I have a little bit of criticism of, which is not entirely fair because it's so hard to do, is it felt less unlike the Avengers movies. It didn't feel quite as smooth introducing everybody, I think, which is something that Joss
No, it's
Whedon
that
pulled
they-
off like amazingly, that it should have been impossible to begin
So,
with.
an analogy, actually. Here's a relevant analogy. A while ago, there was some controversy in Olympic figure skating. They changed the way that the judging was done.
Yeah.
They tried to make it more objective because there was a lot of controversy about certain countries always voting higher because if it's subjective. So they tried to lay down some objective rules for how to score this. But what it actually ended up being was it essentially just made it so that you must perform these figure skating tricks in a compulsory fashion or you can't win. So the guy who won that year, honestly, his performance was not artistic. It did not have flow. But by golly, did he hit every single one of those stunts in order with excellent execution, methodically, mechanically, in a way that was just extremely proficient. And I feel like it's kind of what they did this time. They kind of, like they said, okay, we have so many characters in this movie. If we try and do it organically, we're going to screw something up. So we're just going to give each one their 15-second block. There, and it will be good, and it will be
Yeah,
done.
I definitely enjoyed watching it. But it was just sometimes like Tony Stark's like, well, I'm gonna go get Spider-Man now, and then he heads off to go get Spider-Man. But
like it kind of got video gamey a little bit sometimes.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I did feel
it
a
was-
little like that.
They circumscribed a box that they had to stay inside, and it kind of limited them to a slightly artificial style, but it also meant that they kept everything in control.
I think I would have preferred it as like a TV show, almost like. Like, I don't know. I mean, it was.
Or maybe like some sort of serialized format that could come out weekly.
Yeah, I
maybe
don't know.
TV shows are expensive.
Okay,
What if we printed it on paper?
Like, yeah.
It was good. Like, I wouldn't give it like, I mean, you're comparing it to every other Marvel movie that's come out, so I don't know if I'd say it's like the really. I wouldn't give it. I'd give it an A, not necessarily an A plus, but it was a good movie. I enjoyed watching it.
It was very solid.
Motivation was good. Everybody's motivation was good. That was the main thing.
They spent a lot of time working on the character motivations, which was a big flaw in the comic arc. So they clearly, like, you could tell what they focused their energy on, and it had very direct results. In a very forceful kind of way.
You know who was cool? Black Panther. He was so cute. He was cute.
I did like the Black
He also
Panther
like I
intro.
couldn't tell if he was I couldn't tell if he was a man or a woman at first. I was like, is that buff Catwoman? Are they doing like a feminist redesign?
Specifically when he showed up in the costume.
Yeah, like
she was able to.
Yeah, I mean, of course I knew when he was like when he was dressed like a man. But like I was like, is that a feminist redesign? Like, is that a different
Catwoman
body type?
also not Marvel.
Yeah, it was a man body. Like, yeah, I know Catwoman's DC, but like I was like, is that you know how like
he was lithe and not he wasn't just like bulky like Thor. He's a lithe
in Marvel
superhero.
comics specifically, like everybody's super buff. Like in the comic books, there aren't different body types. It's like, this is buff model, redraw new costume over buff model.
But he had like a butt, which confused me. But like
everybody has a butt, Rachel.
No, but he had like a bubble butt.
Okay,
like,
I think that needs to go on the quote wall now. He had a butt, which confused me. By the way, anybody, if you hear us say, God, Toby, no, stop it. Don't do that.
It means that the dog is barking.
If anybody if anybody notices us saying something funny in one of these things, suggest it for the quote wall, because that'd be fun. Burnt Owl suggested one from Ricky already.
If you really feel,
I'll be right back.
If you would just write out the entire transcript of the episode and submit it because it was all funny, that would do wonders for my ego. It wouldn't be helpful or good a good practice for the exercise, but it would make me feel better. So, have that. What?
I was gonna stroke your mustache.
I
thought it might help your ego.
The possessor of the mustache gets to stroke the mustache. It's not something that
I
other
was gone
people
for like
get to do.
30 seconds. What is happening?
I tried to stroke his mustache and he wouldn't let me.
It is for the owner of the mustache to do.
Burnt Owl says...
It's disheveled.
Burnt Owl says, hey Kyle, did you see the second end-credit scene? I did, because of you, Burnt Owl. I stuck around. I saw it. It was good.
I saw it because I just don't... Like, when they started putting end trailer scenes...
Yeah.
Like, doing... I just, like, no, I'm going to wait until the projection shuts off. Every time.
Marvel has made me stick around to other movies that don't have end credit scenes.
Yeah. Well, it's also made other movies start having mid-credit scenes. Like, people are just like, I guess it's a thing we could do. I think it's also actually increased the art of the... Stop! Of the well-designed cinematic end credit sequence.
Yeah.
Like, just with the cool, like, animations and, like,
they do always have really
just
cool
artistic representation. I've seen that more and more in other movies too, and it's kind of like a low level trademark of Marvel movies. They've always done that, but it's good.
All right, well,
and Civil War was not on our topic list,
but that's fine. Thank you everybody
wasn't it
for
on our topic list?
Joining us for White Noise episode 12. We'll be back next weekend. I'm gonna try to. Can't think of any reason why we wouldn't be back next weekend, so I'll post on social media and stuff as usual, that you guys know what's going on. We should be back next Saturday with another podcast. I'll work on, again, repairing audio before then, see what it sounds like next time.
I'm going to buy a microphone.
They're going to buy a microphone, so that might increase their audio quality. If you...
and it'll just mean there's twice as many audio issues to troubleshoot.
Be sure to leave comments on our videos as they come out, because we're going to keep reading those at the beginning of these episodes. And... I guess, yeah, you guys have anything left? I'm off to actually go run my first D&D game with the people I collected from 2 podcasts ago. We actually got some responses, so I have a small group. We're doing character creation today, and I'm going to do that.
Baby Dungeon Master, Baby Dungeon Master.
I am Baby Dungeon Master.
Okay, you're pulling on my earbud.
Sorry.
If you have any complicated rules questions to ask me,
I will be.
I will have my phone ready. This is the highlight of some of my days I'll just sit around waiting with somebody on Skype to ask a stupid Pathfinder rules question. I'll be like, yes.
Yeah, he actually.
I have become useful.
Use your,
he interrupts like the non-highlights of my day. Apparently, the non-highlights of his day, like activities we're doing, and be like, "Oh, someone asked me a rules question. I must respond and stop this film we're watching."
I still need
like,
a little bit of help on feats
Like-
maybe after this. You can help out real quick, but
Yeah, I will help you with that.
so
You
yeah.
know, Kyle, if you need help with feasts, you can put on shoes.
Everyone I'm ignoring that. Everybody have a good weekend. We'll see you next time. Have a good day. Bye.
I love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Ta-da.